Have you ever wondered how a steam engine works? Well, our first stop gives the visitor a unique look at every aspect of steam railroading, from its conception to its development to the ongoing efforts to keep it alive today.
There's only one place in Pennsylvania where you can be educated to the nearly 200 years of railroading history. That place is called Steamtown, and it's located in the historic city of Scranton. The sound of the bell and the puffs of billowing steam are clear signals you've made it to Steamtown. This national park and historic site can demonstrate the how, the what, the why, and the way back when it comes to steam locomotives.
It's hands-on. You can come and experience everything, not just in exhibits, but you can actually touch and see things run.
Inside the History Museum, you can follow a timeline of railroading from the earliest days of rails to the 1980s. Of all the great exhibits, equipment, and displays you'll find at Steamtown, this is where you can really pull back the curtain on the magic that is steam locomotion.
Now, we're going to show you how this thing operates. Fireman is shoveling coal through the fire doors onto the grates in the firebox. Creates hot gases which pass through the fire tubes, surrounded by water, getting the water hot. As the water boils, it makes steam. Steam rises to the highest point of the boiler, goes into the steam dome, gets forced into the throttle valve, which is controlled by the engineer. That steam expands through the dry pipe, moves forward into the smoke box, gets split in half, that side, this side, moves into the steam chest. The valve controls the direction of the locomotive depending on which way the valve is set. Steam gets emitted from the front of the valve into the front of the piston, which forces the piston back, which in turn is attached to the piston rod, the main rod, the crank pin, and the main wheel. As this is happening, as soon as that stroke is complete, the valve moves forward, the steam gets emitted behind the valve, behind the piston. The piston gets moved forward, and you have that chuffing sound. It moves back and forth, back and forth. The steam then gets exhausted out of the smokestack, through the smoke box, creating a vacuum, which in turn creates more heat because it's drawing all those hot gases through the fire into the fire tubes, thus making the engine more efficient the faster it goes. That, in essence, is how a steam locomotive operates.
Welcome into our Locomotor Shop. Here we have the major repairs take place on the steam locomotives.
Steamtown has tours of its massive shop and maintenance facility nearly every day of the year.
I am just in awe that I am standing in a building that was built in 1865 during the Civil War, and just so many things around are just so authentically old, and I just love the history.
When your tour is complete, you come away with a wealth of knowledge about steam engines.
What I learned especially was how much maintenance it takes to keep up a steam engine. I've always known it was a lot, but I never knew that it was half its lifetime would be in the shop.
The 54-acre National Historic Site features the smallest steam engine ever built, as well as the largest.
I liked my visit here because I like seeing historical things like the Union Pacific's big boy right there, and it's important to have places like this around so people can learn about the history of steam engines and the history of other trains.
Steamtown covers steam railroading in 3 parts, including the big picture of the overall impact on our commerce and culture, as well as the story of the people who worked on the rails.
The other third is the roundhouse, an actual operating roundhouse, where the steam locomotives come in the evening, the fires are dampened, the next day the engines are prepared, they back out onto our 90-foot turntable, and then go out in the yard for the day's operation. We are an operating railroad. We take people out on mainline excursions, having the mainline steam experience, up them through the Poconos.
Today's journey, the train traveled up to Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania. Here patrons disembark for an hour layover before heading back to Steamtown. During the stop, the engine is serviced and many visitors got an up-close and personal look at the process.
It's a massive piece of machinery. Just to stand there and look at it is overwhelming, to feel the sheer power and energy from that type of piece of equipment.
Visitors say nothing rivals Steamtown when it comes to a celebration, as well as an explanation of our great steam railroads.
Someone should come here because it really is the true railroad experience. You get to see the trains in the yard, you get to ride them, you get to get up close to them, and there's actually lines still running through here. So it's still a railroad here, not just a museum.
We're very proud of this complex. The thrill of a family coming in with young kids to see a steam locomotive, sometimes for the first time, is a thrill in and of its own, and we get excited about that.